Okay. I think we should be coming on right now. I hope everybody is ready. I hope you get notification. Is my iPad there? Yeah. Let's go and share. I'm going to share myself, so. Please share. That is Mayowa's language. Share. Let's go share this. Okay. So welcome everyone. This is a special session we are having today. Kingdom Fruit session, but it's a special one. It's going to be with multiple of people. We just finished HMT here. HMT for trainers. It's HMT for trainers. And the next HMT that we have coming up will be HMT for teenagers. HMT for teenagers. And that HMT is coming up in August. It's actually a week from now. Yeah, after the coming week. So we are going to, maybe in 2 weeks' time, we could say in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be having the next one. So, but right now, we thank God for Pastor Derek and the team. They were able to help us do this, train the trainers, and I hope you are all planning to get to HMT one way or the other, so that once you have been able to finish first level of HMT, then you'll be eligible to be trained as a trainer in the future. So get ready for it. Put it in your plan, and find either Pastor Derek's address or one of our own contacts here, and let us know if you are interested. But right now, this special session, we are going to use it to just converse and just discuss and answer questions that people might have. But instead of answering these questions incognito or behind the scene, we have decided to make it public. We have decided to make it public, and that's why we're having this live broadcast, so that all of you will be able to also join us and be able to be blessed by the questions that people here will be asking. If you happen to have some questions by yourself, and you are at home and you are interested in knowing some things or asking Pastor Sunday of one thing or the other, why don't you just join us and write your own question? Say, I have a question to Pastor Sunday or Pastor Derek or to any of the participants that are here. Just, be free enough to write your question and to address it to us, whoever you want to answer for you. So here we are. Pastor Adelaja will be the first one to start with the question. So here we go. Camera, he is going to talk. So he's going to talk.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Adelaja, and I have this question for Pastor today. So this question is from the teaching on what truth is not. And the title of the teaching was Truth is not what can only be perceived with the five senses. And during that teaching, I remember Pastor emphasizing on not just living for today, but being in the future, living for the future. And he mentioned, he stated that he is not just excited about what is happening today, and even his plan for Nigeria, he said that is just in 10 to 20 years. But he has gone beyond 10 to 20 years, but is actually already in 300 years from now. So while I was listening, I had this question because I'd already learned on how to be in the here and now. So I was trying to juxtapose the teaching of being in the here and now and the teaching of being in the future. So my question is, how can I simultaneously live in the here and now and live in the future? That is my question, sir.
Tough. It's for thinkers. It's not for ordinary people. That's a question for thinkers. First of all, you've got to know how to be in the here and now. If you don't know what it means to be in the here and now, this question will be kind of too philosophical for you. But I have a book on that, and it's on Amazon. It's called How to Be in the Here and Now. So that's what it's talking about. And so that's a concept or a science of being in the here and now. So if we are taught that you are only alive so far as you are in the here and now. So how could you be in the here and now and at the same time live 300 years in the future? Not even into tomorrow or day after tomorrow or next year, but 300 years to come. How could you be in the here and now and still be living for the next 300 years to come? So that's the question of Pastor Anu right there. Well, it is simple. When you are here and now, you are in the here and now, but your mind, that one of the benefits of the mind is the ability for it to travel, to go on adventure. So your mind has some basic functions, which are some of the blessings that you have, the blessings of your mind. One of the blessings of your mind is that your mind is capable of storing memory. So that ability to store memory gives you also the ability to travel back in years and in ages. So you could be in the here and now, being aware of what is going on, but when you are on your own, when you need to think, when you are on your own, when you are by yourself, your mind always travels anyway. But most of the time, it travels to the past or to immediate past event that just happened. But if you are in the here and now, part of being in the here and now is the ability to be in charge of your mind. And instead of you allowing it to freely travel anywhere it wants, and a free parasite just going everywhere, parasite you call this. Free, you don't allow your mind to be a free parasite on you. So instead of allowing your mind to just on its own, just think on anything it wants, and most of those things will be negative, or most of those things will not be constructive, or even if they are not negative, they are going to be things that make you feel good about yourself or to relax. But if you want to be constructive, so it means you are going to be on top of your mind, and for you to do that, you've got to be in the here and now. So now you project your thoughts either to the future or to the past. So I've talked about, the function of the mind, which is memory, to store and to review, to play back. So that's one function, but that's not what we are talking about now. We are talking about another function. Another function of the brain is the ability to travel, to project, and to operate in foresight. And that foresight and the ability to project can go as long as you have developed your mind, and as long as you have developed your spirit mind, the spirit man. So in my spirit man, I can, when I'm reflecting and when I'm thinking of far away events in the 300 years to come and how to build something that will last to that time. And so I'm building a system and a plan now that will operate in the years to come. So how can I be in the here and now? When I'm in the here and now, like I'm here right now, I'm not thinking about that because I'm in the here and now. But I'm not always doing something that demands my mental presence in the here and now. Sometimes I'm just relaxing. Sometimes I'm just studying. Sometimes I'm reading. Sometimes I'm praying. Those are the times I use to project in the future, to travel into the future, and to engage in adventures to centuries to come. So that's one of the abilities of your mind. There are three basic functions of your mind. One is to store memories, and to store and review and play back memories. Second one is to focus and into reality and make whatever your focus is your reality. So for example, if I am here right now and I'm focusing on events after my death in the next 200, 300, 500 years, even though I am here now, but through the power of the mind, I can project my mind into that 300 years to come and bring it through the power of focus and make that my reality, even though I'm here 300 years before. I can see into the future through the power of focus. Just like you will use camera. Does anybody have camera here? You have camera here. You could look here, and if depending on the lens you have, how powerful the lens is, you could actually see up to 10 kilometers away. 20 kilometers away from here. So that's like ages away. Your mind, that idea of lens was created by the functioning of the mind. So this whole technology of being able to see, in fact, there are lenses now that will see into space and will see into 70 years ahead. 70 years ahead. This is not kilometers now. It will be like millions of kilometers away. That if you are going to calculate it in the speed of light, it will be 70 years ahead. Through lens, it will travel there and bring events back here. NASA has it. So that is all designed from the function of the mind. The original, everything that is created is copied from what God has created. The original model that God has created is the mind. And because of the power of the mind to project and focus. But whatsoever you focus on becomes your reality. So whatever, for example, I might be here as well, but my family is in Africa, in Nigeria. When I'm here, I could daydream. When I'm daydreaming, you are traveling. That's what you are doing. You know, when you are daydreaming, you are here, your eyes is going everywhere here. And you are saying, yeah. But in your mind, you are thinking of what's happening in your village. So that time, your reality is not Ukraine anymore. Your reality is not what I'm saying. You don't even hear what I'm saying. Your reality has become Africa, even though you are in Ukraine. That is the power of the mind. So your mind can store information. Your mind can replay information. Your mind can focus on reality, because whatever you focus on becomes your reality. It's not what is happening that's your reality. So I can make my reality events of 300 years to come, not what is happening right now. Personally, I don't live in what is happening right now. For me, it's a waste of time. It's already gone. Anything visible is already old-fashioned. That's why the Bible says that the just shall live by faith. You only live by the things that are invisible. That is when you are living. And I've trained myself to always project myself into the future of that are yet invisible. That's why any message you hear me preach, I always knew. It's going to be very difficult for you to say you have heard anything I preach about. Almost impossible. Because I'm deriving them from the future. I'm always living in the future. That's where I belong. So from the future, I bring into reality things into this place. So I'm not here. I'm not interested in what people are saying right now. That's not my reality. I create my reality from the invisible world. Because everything that is visible is already temporal and is already in the past tense. So, but everything that is invisible, that is the reality that you want to live for. So if you live for the things that are invisible, your life will never stop, because your life has traveled into that future. And then you can only be bringing things from there. You will always be new. So because of that, so so when it says that the just shall live by faith, it means the just shall never live anymore. If you are truly just before God, if you are truly righteous, you are no longer living by the realities of things that are already existing around you, or by the realities of things that people can see or you can see. You are now living by the unseen realities of the spirit, where you project your spirit through your power of your mind and your spirit man. And the things that you see over there, like an architectural drawings and designs, you are seeing them by your faith. Not physically like you are seeing vision. No, but in your imagination. So whatever you are imagining, you are now building systems here that will build and sustain them, and then people will begin to see them, little by little, gradually, and then those things will live and be sustainable till as long as you can see. So when you are here, being in the here and now in that sense is to I'm here, but I'm using the power of focus, my lens, into the future. So this camera is here and now, but lens makes it to travel into 300 years to come. That's what you can do, and that's what I do. Wow. I hope I answer your question.
Wow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, tell me. You have got to respond. If whatever
definitely,
you got.
Yes, sir. Because what I was thinking of is, and the reason why I asked the question was how to do it practically. You know, you can have an idea of something, but what I've learned from you is it's not just having an idea, you must be able to convert it. So it's the ability to convert what you were teaching to something that I can use, because trying to convert being in the here and now makes me so conscious of what I'm saying. As I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about what I'm saying, so I'm here. So I am practicing how to convert being in the here and now. So I was asking the question to know how I can practice being in the future also, but not missing out in being in the here and now. And so what I got from you is for me to understand the ability that I have with my mind, in that with my mind, I can be here, but with my mind being that lens, I can project into
distant
future. And with that focus, with that focus that I'm using my mind to, I can bring the picture and then convert that picture I'm seeing and then develop systems, develop ways on. So now in developing those systems, I'm doing them in the here and now.
Yes.
So, so that's what I get. So, because it is in that, for example, if I want to have a school, and I can see a school I want to have in 20 years from now, so I'm in that future now. I'm already seeing the school, but now being in the here and now is now developing,
taking a sheet of paper,
a sheet of paper, and then drawing the plans. Yeah. So now I'm in the here and now, but what I'm bringing in the here and now is what I've seen in the future. So that's exactly what I got. Yes.
Thank you for asking that question. Thank you so much for your very apt reply.
Is it apt or elaborate?
It's apt and elaborate.
Okay.
It is both, yeah.
Okay.
It is both, because elaborate is what it says in quantity, what it does, and as it becomes a constituent of our lives, it becomes apt, because it's like an app. Yeah, so you just touch it and you launch the whole elaborating. All right, thank you so much. So I will be asking a question similar to his, but more from a theological and anthropological aspect, also coming from history and what we've learned. For me, it's the most difficult question of my life so far. Somehow, one may want to ask, in its entirety, is this something one should abandon? Maybe it's not really necessary. But again, I keep getting back to that question, and I think it is one question that people have used as alibi, not to actually take charge of some things. And some also have used it as a place of maybe, let's say, forgetting who is the main person. It's a question of predestination and choice. To which must our lives be most glued? Must we keep looking for what we've been predestined to be, or are we the architect of our lives by the choices we make? So in the case where whatever my life turns out, can God be responsible? Or am I responsible?
I understand the question, but you must help yourself and make it more elaborate.
Okay. Okay, for example, the general example that atheists and people who are free thinkers like to use is the punishment of Adam for sinning. The general question is, God is omniscient. He knows everything. And therefore, he knows already what the guy would have done. So it's as though he's living a life that is scripted, and the choice was not necessarily his. And if that was the case, he should not have been made responsible for a script that he was just acting. And if our lives are just like that, are we to discover the script we are to act out? Or we are actually, was Adam put in this world with choices and he made the wrong choice and had to be responsible? So now he becomes the architect who has the choice. So if our lives are like that, that means in this life that I am now, I'm not necessarily looking for a script that has been written for me, a manual. I'm to just look at my life and make choices for which I will be responsible in life. Because, for example, in Nigeria now, a lot of people will say they are looking for the will of God before they go for just one project. Do something that is good for your life. They are still praying 15 days on the mountain, waiting for the will of God. So it seems to me that those ones are going for predestination. And somebody else who doesn't really believe in God will take risk. And he knows that he is responsible for his choices. So where is the balance? Predestination and choice. Which should I drift towards?
Okay. Number one, thank you for the question. But the reality is that predestination is not your problem. Predestination, and the reason it's mentioned in the Bible, is just talking about God and His omniscient, omnipotent, and the fact that He's all-knowing. So they are just describing God. Predestination is something pertaining to God, not to you. So no human being should even concern himself with predestination at all. It's not a question to be discussed. It's not. You could just talk about predestination when you are talking about the fact that God is omniscient and all-knowing. So the fact that God is all-knowing, He knows, thanks to the fact that He's omniscient and is all-knowing, because of that quality, because He's God, He's all-knowing and all-consuming and all-encompassing Himself, He happens to know. Is like what they call that information, that with the confidential information, but something they call it. There's another word, not confidential, classified. So it is God's classified information. It is His own prerogative. So He knows how you are going to end, and He knows the choice you are going to make. But that doesn't mean He's telling you that that's the choice you are going to make, and that is not no. He just happened to know because He's omniscient. It's a classified information. It's not your problem. So He just happened to know about it, but He's not sharing with you. So what happens is, but He has original choice for you. For everybody that is on earth, God has the best plans. For example, for Adam and Eve, He actually informed them that one. He said, what you are supposed to do, what you are going to do, what you are here for, is to produce, bring forth food, multiply, increase, subdue the earth, and spread the glory, and be the Lord of the earth. That is God's ultimate original plan for Him. Just like the same way He has that same original plan for all of us. What the ultimate good that He has already planned for us. And that He's willing to reveal to us. But because He doesn't want to make us into a robot, but as a human being, for us to be human, you've got to have choice. So because you are human, you have the choice power. But God has told you the best thing for you to do. What is good for you, oh man? Yeah? This is the choice you should make. He has already revealed that to you. So He's revealing that to you. But even though, because He's God Almighty, He's omniscient, He knows either you are going to choose right or wrong. Not from the beginning, but just from being Him. From being omniscient. So He happens to know, but it's a classifier. He doesn't want you to change. It's not final. It's not a infinite something that, okay, you cannot change your mind. You can, but, you have this choice. So that's what happened with Adam. God didn't write out a script that you should fail. And no, God just happened to know because it's just like you are a director of a school. You have students, you gave them exams. You definitely want everybody to pass. And then they have written their exams, but because you are the principal, even though you want all of them to pass, but because those exams are in your vicinity and in your office, and you have access to the marks, so you are even surprised, even though you have not announced to them, they don't know the results yet, but you can see, you are privy to it. So, but your original intention is for them all to pass. But now you are looking at the result and you are saying, oh, it didn't pass, so this one never. So you can make an alternative plan to now cover for the mistakes that have been made. But your original intent was for them to have passed. I don't know if you get it. Yeah. So with our own will, God has the best for us in mind, and that He puts in us while we are coming. It puts desires in you, for good and not for evil. It puts, it buries in your system your calling. It packages you for success. So that is having the best, and is putting all that best in you potentially. But you make the choice to use that best for his glory, according to his will or according to your will. But that's what makes you a human. You make choices. So, but thinking about predestination is not even our prerogative. We are not even supposed to think about it at all. Just look for your own best you could be. Look for the best you could be. That best is in you. Don't be looking for God for it. He's already put that in you. He packaged the best of everything, vision, understanding. But for you to improve yourself, you've got to go and seek knowledge and seek to add value to yourself. Seek to know more from God, from people. Seek for direction. All those desires are in us to want to improve ourselves. God has put that in you also as well. So, but for you to now sit down and be saying you are waiting for, some things to just work out automatically, you are being irresponsible. I don't know if you get it, but it's like you are not convinced yet.
No, it's not about being convinced.
So we don't deal with predestination. It's not our prerogative. It's not our territory. It's not our jurisdiction. Predestination is purely God's jurisdiction. So we don't bother ourselves with that. We bother ourselves with choice, only choice. What we are giving is not predestination. What we are giving is willpower. And what God is giving is predestination. So it's just, when we talk about predestination, only when we are talking about God, that he knows.
All right, so
tell us what you got.
Yes, what I got basically is that there are two actors in play, God and man. And there are two things to choose from, two things that exist, predestination and choice. But when it comes to man, the only thing that man has to deal with is choice, because predestination belongs to God only. There's nothing we can do about predestination, so why try to live in a realm that we are not even permitted to? So what we can actually deal with, the realm that we can live in, is in the realm of choices, where we can make the right choices and do the right things, and everything that pertains to life and godliness, like Pastor has said, has been placed in us. So how do we tap into those? Is by seeking the knowledge of God, because the moment we know more about God, we know more about ourselves, and studying deep from both history and the people that are around to ask questions and ask directions from those who have gone ahead of us, and then look deep inside and see those things that God has placed in. So we cannot afford to keep sitting down waiting for what is the will of God, because what is indeed the will of God, he has deposited in us.
Brilliant.
I would like to ask a question about what would be the best way to impact to the spheres in a society, especially in education, where I am working. I'm asking this because we are having challenges, and at this very moment the laws in Finland have been changed because the gay and lesbian marriages are being allowed, and now the situation is the kind of that universities and schools are going to have a new teaching plan from the start of next August, and I'm worried about, of course, the children and the future, and what would be the best way for us to impact, and what should we do in this kind of situation to protect the children.
Okay. First of all, when we are talking about gay agenda being instituted in the schools, the best way to protect the children is only through families. Families, especially Christian families, have got to teach their children from home. Never rely on what they will teach your children in school. That is not what will make them to become who they want to be, who you want them to be. The school will only make them to become who the system wants them to be. But what will make them to become who you want them to be is what you teach and imbibe in them from home. So your teaching your children at home should be stronger. Your system of education and of imbibing value system in your children should be stronger than the school that they only visit and come back. So if parents are not training their children at home, individually, personally, telling them the truth, and discipling them in the truth, they will be swept away when they go to school. So that is the way for protection. So that when you have taught them from home, when they get to school, they just laugh because they know better. But when they are not taught at home, their heads are empty and they just consume everything they are told in the school. Just like my own children. The trainings and whatever make them to become who they are is not what they are seeing in school. So a lot of the things they are seeing in school might not be what we want them to have. So that's why we work with our children every single day on values development. It has to be a system. You must have, what I've seen with parents is that parents don't even have an idea that children are supposed to be parented and brought up by system. Parents don't even think about that. Parents bring up their children and train them mainly by saying, I told you not to go there. Why did you go there? I told you last time not to go there. Huh? I told you, okay, you are going to cry. I'm going to beat you today. Why did you go there? Okay, if you do it next time, I will beat you more. Okay, you hear? Okay. Then you keep on going, go there. Oh, go and greet uncle. Go and greet sister aunt. You just came back. Be a good boy. Kneel down. Or, shake their hands. Say, hello, good morning, ma. Good morning. Okay, bless the food. So that is situational, upbringing that kids have most of the time. When everything is okay, have you finished doing your assignment? Have you watched the television? Okay, it's time enough. It's okay not to watch it. It's enough. Okay, go out and sleep. Okay. No system. But when I'm talking about system, what I mean is before you even think of marrying or marriage, you must have a system in place of how you'll be working with your children. So, for example, before I even began to have children, I know that the first 3 years, I will only be loving the kids. And my wife will be more responsible to day-to-day, impacting of the character, the virtues that are needed. Kindness, love, acceptance, protection. That's coming from my wife for the baby, before 3 years old. But from 3 years old, I take over. Because from 3 years old, the cognitive abilities of the child is being developed and is now ready to receive training. So I'm not just loving on him anymore. So from 3 years old, I begin a daily routine of training. So between 3 to 5, I spend 30 minutes. The baby has to sit on my lap or on my neck. He's sitting on my neck. We take lie down together on bed, and we are reading, values. So let's say for the whole week, I take the value of God. Who is God? Why does it matter to you? So every day we read little article and I explain. And then he explains back to me, what do you understand? Just like we are doing right now. So that from when he's small, God has been inculcated into his system. Then next week, for example, maybe we take another subject, responsibility. So what is responsibility? From when you're 3 till 5, it's going to be 30 minutes every day. But then from 5, it's going to be between 1 hour to 1.5 hours every day, till 15. So another day could be why we are here on earth. Why were you born? To change your world. You will see adding that every day. So that's why my children, I don't even need to talk to them about calling or anything. They know what they are here for. They are already changing their world, even from 10, from 11. They are talking as if because it's inculcated into them, systematically built into their system, into their cells. If they are sleeping, you wake them up, they will tell sense that you will not even hear any adult talk about. They know what they are doing, what is going to come afterwards. They are not even wasting time to talk about, okay, what about if men come, or if women come, or they are going to be dressing, to be, those has been dealt with from the age of 9, 10, 11. What about if you're, okay, for example, one of the week could be pressures, peer pressures, or sex, what is sex perversion? So every day we are discussing that. They are hearing from me, I'm hearing from them. So that is system. So it's not just, hey, why did you do that? Why did you do that? I told you not to go there. Come here. What did you? No. So next, if they now go out of order, I just refer them back to what you remember we did this subject with you? Tell me what you learned from that. And what did you just do? So what is wrong? Where is it? You say, oh, yeah. Okay, what do you deserve? You deserve punishment? Okay, go and rectify that. Okay, you'll be punished. So knowledge goes before. A house is built out of wisdom before, not just out of emotions. Oh, did you go there? Oh, who did I tell? Or in our church sometimes they were asking me, my members of church were asking me, do you always have some situations whereby you tell your children to do something and they said, we don't agree. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And just walk out. Say, what are you talking about? You are talking as if you are talking about biomasses. These children have been taught about that. They have been trained. That doesn't even exist. We don't even have pictures like that at all. We don't even struggle with that. It doesn't even come up. Even if they don't like it, they have understanding enough to know how to behave. Or they know that they have to come and argue their cases, bring up the arguments, make the point. And then the father has to make the point, or the mother has to make the point. And if they win, if their point is stronger, okay. If mine is stronger, okay. So no crisis. So if they meet with gay and everything, they will even dare themselves will explain to anybody, any teacher. So that's the biggest protection. Now let's talk about the larger understanding about the school system in general, apart from our own children, right? So how do you affect that? First of all, you must know that it's your calling that you have, because a lot of problems are in town, a lot of problems are in the country. It's better for you to follow your heart, to follow what God is leading you to do. So if you just say because there is gay agenda in town and you are going after every problem, first of all, there are too many. Secondly, you are going to frustrate yourself if that's not where you have the grace to tackle. Secondly, make sure that, because in the Western world, before you could go to school and change anything there or bring influence, you must have the pedagogical training, or teachers training, education training, or certificate. So you must have some kind of license for you to be able to have permission to go to schools. So that is another thing. Get your education right. Get your paper. Be qualified to be able to speak to that sphere of life. Number 3, what you want to do, you want to be good in what you are doing. So if you are called to the area of school, education or something, you are not only qualified, but if you are the best teacher, you are going to be respected and your voice is going to be heard. Even if the authority don't want to hear your voice, the students will hear your voice. Be the best where you are. So they might have their own policy about gay or something, but if you shine bright, if you are shining brightly, all the students would like to talk to you afterwards or hear your opinion. And that is where you could now bring your opinion and bring deliverance and light to those kids. Or you could start a social organization besides the church or outside the church where you could be doing events once a month, once a week, every Saturday, where students are not going to school, but they are coming to your events out of the school hours. Then you can tell them the truth. It's like a club. Or you could set up your club, students club, or kids club, or parents club, where you just be using your influence to keep on training those kids. Or even extra classes for kids. Those extra classes will now, because they are not happening in the school premises, they afford you the opportunity to be able to tell them the truth.
Okay, thank you very much. That was very multiplied answers, and I have had something similar in my mind about how you should do it home so strongly. yes, that you should do it home so strongly that it doesn't impact so much, but like the worries now come so suddenly when the thing is happening at schools nowadays, that there is like a system created that every teacher is going to have to be like report how have you had that in your teaching, and so like what to do when it's very like suddenly happening in society. But well, we just have to go and then fight back with your advices and find more knowledge and wisdom about
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor. I have a question. How do you disciple a people group? What are the steps to take a people group or take the gospel to them and influence them with the kingdom principles?
Okay. Very similar to what I said about the education in schools, the second part of it. So let's say I'm working as a computer scientist, IT technologist, for example. Most people, unfortunately, what I have seen is that, or let's say I'm working as a medical doctor. Most people, what they do is that they think that their influence as a medical doctor is they are bringing the kingdom of God when they are treating the patient. But that is wrong. If that is the only way, let's say you are a surgeon, just by healing or doing surgery is the only way you are bringing the kingdom. You say you have treated. You cannot. I think the greatest doctors do 500 in their lifetime operations. Or 20, some people do 20 operations in their lifetime. Some people do 50 operations in their lifetime. The ones that are really good do 100, 200.
More than that, I think they need 200 to 250 to stand.
Okay. To be a surgeon, up to how many? 2,000? 8,000 surgeries. Because I heard, in the Ukraine here, they were celebrating one, famous surgeon, and they said he did 5,000 surgeries, of the heart or so. So that's like record. So you only touch 5,000 lives. I mean, even what's his name, Dr. Ben. Yeah, I think it was 250 or so surgeries that he did. That is like record also. So that's why I was saying that. So if you are just going to rely on that, on how many people you can touch individually, you have wasted your life. That's nothing. When you can touch 1 million, when you can touch 5 million, so why should you just fix yourself to somebody you? So, but the real reason, the way you really bring the kingdom in your medical field is that you should always focus not on the individual patient, but on the system of medicine. The best way to bring the kingdom of God is to focus on affecting the system, on bringing rule, kingdom principles, kingdom values to that whole medicine. So what you would do to affect a people group is that you study the problems and the challenges of that, let's say, medicine. What are the real challenges that country or that whole field is having? What are the challenges doctors have, nurses have? What are the problems in the schools, medical schools? What are the problems with the students? What are the issues with the instruments? What are the value systems? How do they treat the patients? So apart from the fact that you are doing your own surgery one by one, you are actually dealing with the issues. And then you are making sure that the order of God, the right value system, is replacing all those things that are out of order. You are bringing order. So the best influence, the best system of influence is to bring order where something has gone out of order. The same thing you are doing when you are healing the body, because the reason why a person is sick, something has gone out of order. But you are doing it for an individual. But I'm now saying the system. So let's say, for example, you are a computer engineer. If you could only be doing your computer engineering and just getting your contract and resolving your own situation. But that is the lowest life of life. The thing you should be doing is, while you are getting your contracts and repairing and doing your computer, whatever IT stuff that you are doing, you should actually expand your scope to the whole sphere. Because that whole sphere of IT technology is, or that your own particular sphere, is a people group by itself. They are individuals that are involved with that. And they are individuals that you are touching. And they are your patients. They are your clients, customers. Then there is the industry in the future. And there is a lot of issues that are connected there. So your whole mindset when you are a kingdom person is, how do I leave a lasting legacy on the industry? You should be thinking on the industry, about the industry, about the sphere of influence, and look at the problems and the challenges, and then be, procuring solutions and bringing kingdom principles to those places. It's just like even if you are a pastor, like I'm a pastor now of Embassy of God Church. I'm building Embassy of God Church, but that is my little work. That is not my primary obligation. My primary obligation is to see myself as the pastor of the Embassy of God, that I'm using Embassy of God only as my platform. But my real agenda is, my real audience is Ukraine as a whole. So I am instilling kingdom influence. So the Embassy of God is the platform. It's just like when you come to church. It's the stage. The stage, Embassy of God, is only the stage. You see the stage there? That is only stage. But the audience that you see there now, that is the whole of Ukraine. So if I engage myself just with the stage, I have limited myself. But the stage is what I stand on, what makes me visible to be able to affect the populace. So anything you are doing, just let's say you are an IT something, why would they listen to me? Because I'm good. Why, if I'm a surgeon, why would they listen to me? Because I'm the best. So when I'm now projecting solutions, people listen. But it has to start with research. Research about the challenges of that people group. Everybody is crying somewhere. The greater you become, the more problems you have. So, for example, the way I am right now, people think I don't have problems. Or they know I have problems, but they think I don't need help because I have everything. But the thing is, everybody has some challenges, and what the answer to it is I don't want people who just come and say, I want to get employed. I don't need your employment. I don't need to employ people. But what I need is somebody to detect what my challenges are and to say, Pastor, I have solutions for you. And provide me solutions when I didn't even expect it. Everybody will be excited. So the first thing you do is to do research about the challenges of that area. The second thing is lift up your eyes, like Jesus said, and see into the field. Is it not white? Is it not time? Is it not ripe? So don't look at the harvest right now. Look at the field, the large picture. So ability to look beyond what you are having right now. That's number 2. Number 3, look for people's pain. People's point of pain. And provide solutions. Research. Look for how those similar problems have been resolved in other countries. Learn from their experience. Look at the specifics of your situation, and then combine it with the way other people have resolved it. Then bring kingdom perspective to it, and then make it into order or rule or law or golden rules or a system that makes it to be cemented or to be as a monument, to be established as a system, as a rule, as an order of life, so that even when you are gone, people are still following that order or procedure. A procedure. Work out a procedure and a routine for people to be following. Meanwhile, you are touching individuals too, but that is just like that's just the minimum. That's just too small. And then you must get a stage, a platform, to speak to that people group, to be able to address. So you need a stage from where you'll be able to talk loud and clear. You need influence. You need popularity. And you might need people relations, strategies to be able to build bridges with people. Don't just be an introvert. If you want to influence, you cannot be an introvert. You must build bridges. Then, next thing you want to do, you want to build teams. Teams of people. Because if you are talking about spheres of influence, like people group, let's say a whole computer industry, you want to have people group that will be in different area of the computer industry, who have different interests, different specialty, who are extending the influence of what the values you are bringing to them. And if you are talking about medicine, the same thing. You have people from from the nurses to the medical operationists to the technical people. So you want to have a team of people that will extend your influence beyond just where you are. You want to train people and send them to all the departments and all the the different faculties of the sphere of life that you are talking about. Yeah, so give him back the microphone. Let him tell us what he got.
Thank you, Pastor. This is quite extensive. I'm just trying to put them in chronological order.
You might need to listen again.
Yes. And then, because based off of most of the things you talked about are bullet points that I can develop from the HMT series and building systems. I pretty much understand what it is to be the platform, to get a training, build influence, look at the point of pain, research first. And then I guess prayer.
Yes.
Because obviously, if one is going into a certain course or domain, there's probably going to be spiritual forces.
Now, why did I not mention prayers? Let me tell you the way prayer works. Prayer is a fundamental requirement for you to do anything at all. Prayer is your lifeline. So even if you are not going anywhere, you still have to have that prayer line. So even you don't pray because you want to do something. You pray because it's your lifestyle. It's just like saying a tree. A tree maintains relationship with the soil, not because it's time for the harvest. A tree maintains relationship with the soil because if it doesn't maintain it, it's not even alive. So with us as Christians, people now, the way we have been taught is that we pray because we want to do something. But really what we are supposed to do is to abide in me. Abide in me so that I abide in you, my word will abide in you. Then you will do something. Just that abiding is prayer. So the ability to abide in him all the time is making you to forever be ready. So you must always have your prayer life. You must always be praying about your vision, about your destiny, about your call on a daily basis. You must always be thinking, but praying not just that God should bless it, and that one also, but first of all, you want to pray to find out what he wants to do there, how he wants you to do it, for you to be able to see what he is saying, and to be able to hear strategies from him and what he would have done. So those are the things that are going on the ground in your own private life. Prayer is supposed to be about your personal relationship with God on a daily basis that nobody even knows that you are praying. No, you don't even remember it because it's what you do before you even go out of the house. It's what you do every day, every minute when you are even sitting down here right now. Just intimate relationship, hearing him constantly. That is the prayer sense. So, for example, when I just started as a minister, if I know that I'm supposed to preach now, like I'm doing right now, I would have been praying from morning 2, 3, 4 hours. Or before now, I would have locked myself inside 3 hours before, 4 hours before praying because I have to minister tonight. That's what I used to do. The first 8 years of my, Christian ministry, that's what I used to do because I thought I used to go and prepare. But later on, after I had done my solitude with God for like another 8 years, just being in the presence of God. Right now, you see me, I'm talking every day, every time, 2 times, 3 times a day. If I need to go and pray, but you are seeing, it's like I'm living in God right now. I'm not even coming out of him. I'm living in God. I'm covered in God. I am in Him every minute, every second of the day. In fact, so that is a better place to be. That is a better place to be. So, but there are instances when God will wake me up in the morning and say, no, tomorrow there are situations that you are not going to foresee and you are not going to prepare for. I want you to pray extra now. So He does this. I don't even know what is coming. But before I had to know that I have to go and pray. But now I don't have to know. He knows. And He gets me to know when to pray extra, when to pray, more, is a little bit more, or what something is. He wants me. He even shows me some of the things that will happen during the day. So that's a superior kind of walk with God. So, and that walk of, prayer life, constant prayer, fasting, lifestyle will help you. But if you don't pray and don't fast at all, and you are just waiting for occasional something, you will always be finding out that you are not always ready. Because, and then you always relax. So that you will pray now for 3 hours. You preached, and you are waiting for next Sunday to come before you go and pray again. Otherwise, but you have to be in Him all the time. And that is much more superior. So you're praying for that, your sphere of influence, even 10 years before you get there. Even 2 years before, you are already praying about it. And you're already getting God's understanding, strategies, write them down. You have even gotten them ready. For example, some of the things I'm talking about now, I got them ready 20 years ago. And people are thinking these are new revelation. In fact, some of the people who are watching me, they were surprised when they saw my message 12 years ago from Australia or from other places, from Nigeria, other places. And they said, so this guy has been talking about this thing even 10 years, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. They thought we thought he just got the revelation because nobody is still, up to today, nobody is still talking about it. But I've been talking about it 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Because some of these revelations I got them 15 years ago. So because you've not had it, doesn't mean that I didn't have it. It was in the cassette. And somebody just put them there. This guy has been talking about this thing. Yes. So that's what prayer, that's what walking with God does. It supersedes events and prepares you ahead of time, even before the battle comes.
So, as you mentioned fasting, I made a decision on fasting about 3 years ago. So maybe I could be corrected, so that's why I want to ask. Before 3 years ago, I could go, in fact, 50 days, 6 to 6. I do from January 2nd till I just go like that. Or sometimes I do 3 days. But as I began to grow in knowledge then I had to come back to study fasting for myself and what was the end result that fasting was a means to. Then for me, I realized fasting to be the end result was focus. And I realized that through willpower, I could focus. So then because of that, I stopped fasting. And I think I started gaining some weight because those times I used to look so skinny.
Yeah.
But now that you mentioned it again, I feel in my spirit to ask again so that I don't just stay in what may be yesterday. Maybe it worked up until this moment. Maybe I need to start again. So what's your opinion?
Fasting is necessary for different things. First of all, fasting will not change God. Fasting doesn't change His opinion. And fasting doesn't impress God. But fasting does prove to God how serious you are. For example, most of the people who are praying today and don't get answers because they have not convinced God that they are serious about what they are talking about. So fasting could, in that sense, help you to communicate to God. It's just like somebody said, Pastor, I want to see you. You want to see me? Come and see me now. But you are not coming. Because, I have to travel, I have to leave my job, I have to, leave the family to travel. You are not serious. You see now. But fasting is like you got rid of everything else. You make Him the priority and focus. It's not changing me, but it's convinced, you are telling me that you are serious. It's changing you. So, that's what fasting, that kind of, you have, because it says you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. So that's one thing fasting does. Number two thing fasting does is that it makes you to set yourself free from earthly worries and weight. if you are not careful, you will just be walking in the natural. You will just be operating naturally through your mind. But you are supposed, because when you are fasting, you set yourself free from the burden of the flesh and the mind, and the frivolities and of life, the vanity of life. They consume you. You are living like everybody else, but that is too small. That is keeping you down. But you want to fly like an eagle. So you want to set your spirit man free so that your spirit man will be ruling over the natural affairs. You don't want to live your life from the natural affair. From the natural point of view. You want to make your spirit to be so far to be above your mind and your flesh. So fasting helps you to set your spirit loose that way and operate from top rather than from earth. So that's number 2. Number 3 thing that fasting will do for you is that fasting will sharpen your focus, like you said. Sharpen your focus and resolution, make you to be more resolute. That's also needed. But even more than that, fasting, when you come out of fasting, especially if you are combining fasting with solitude, you are able to hear God faster, and because your spirit is not all the noises and all the things that are all the extra noises and things that are blocking you, they fall down, they become secondary, and you are able to hear God easier and faster. Then even more than that, when you come out of solitude and fasting period, you know that your spirit is coming from above. You are able to acknowledge your positional placement, that you are the one coming from above who is above all. You know that you are seated in the high place. So that is easier for you to affirm if you already know that. But even if you don't know that and you are fasting, you can fast it tomorrow. You not even see, they do not help you. You just think it's the fasting that is working. But it's what you know that is, giving you that authority. So, and of course, it makes you to lose some of those stomach. I think it does.
Well, congratulations to my fellow graduates. And I want to say a special thank you. I know all of us want to say thank you to Pastor Sunday for this. It used to be invisible. Now it is visible, HMT. And now it's gone to another level where we are the trainers of HMT. And we want to thank Pastor Derek that inherited it.
The mantle.
Yes. He studied it. He dedicated himself to it. He surrendered to the Lord. He did so much to receive and to bring it to flesh. And so we want to thank him that now he has us, and he's also going to be dedicating his time and his team. We also have Philip that came with him, and we want to thank him too. And so we did everything today. We've been working for the past 5 days with different workshops, absolutely incredible. And so today was our graduation day, which was also incredible. A part of a course required us to sign an agreement and knowing, what our positions were, what we are doing, what we are agreeing as partners to do with this training. And a little part of the training came out that we need to be careful while we are training with our materials so that it doesn't get pirated. And many of us don't have the control of that. And we really do understand the concept of it not being pirated, because people might not have gone through the training but may have access to the material and so-called go out there and start doing all kinds of things with it. So my question was, how do we protect our material? Because we still have to give it out, and we still have to teach it from being pirated.
Well, I'm not concerned about pirate. Okay. I'm actually right now, I've got some pirates who are pirating my books in Nigeria. Some of them were put in jail before. So unfortunately, I cannot help those ones. But other people who were pirating were hiding. So they were still pirating my books, but no, you will not know who they are. So right now, I made an announcement on Facebook and YouTube, and I said that I'm looking for pirates, and I want to give them the right to use my materials for free. And I will give them the license and the written license to do it. And that, I'm more interested in people getting the material than the money or whatever that is coming from there. But those are my materials, my teachings, and my books. But in HMT, the reason why we don't want, we don't sell the books and the cassettes of HMT, the reason why we don't do that and we don't just distribute and make it accessible is because people will be deceived. People will think when they read the book or the instruction book or the teacher's book, they think, oh, we got it. I can read it myself. They don't know that is only 20% of HMT. The greatest benefit of HMT comes in the atmosphere. 80% of the benefit of HMT doesn't come from knowledge. It doesn't come from what you know, what you heard. So the teachings of HMT, if you listen to it and say you have gone through it, you have just deceived yourself because that is just 20%. But you will be deceived and thinking that, but I listen now. I've gone through it. But really, you've just lost 80% because 80% is atmosphere, environment. That is the idea. So it's not about the pirating per se, that they shouldn't know it or something, but we just don't want them to think they've got it when they've not got it. So when they now run just with the training, the teachings, they cannot produce results or they are producing counterfeit results. And they are not certified. We cannot answer for them because we are lowering the quality. Then they will not be able to produce the quality that we require. Then they will not be able to have the result that we require. So it's not true then when we say HMT produces this guaranteed result. It will not be true because other people have come and polluted it. So it's like standards. So we just want to maintain the high standard that we could guarantee results for. So that is the whole idea of it. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
So even if people are going to get the book and you're going to train them, tell them to be sincere, to walk in truth. Let them go through the training, first level, second level, and get the certificate. Then let them pay the price. It's the price that you are paying. Yeah, when you are traveling to go and do that is even sometimes is the most important thing because, like for example, for you to even set yourself free to travel or to get the money, you have to overcome some things. So those process of overcoming is making you a victor. But when you are at home, you just listening and coming back and so you have not put a system of restraint around yourself. And then when you now want to go and operate, because you are not using to, working in restrained environment and putting yourself under restraint, you will not be able to do it. And you'll not even be able to produce other people who will be able to do that. Yeah. So that is, yeah.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay. Thank you, Pastor. I have a question especially for the people of the third age.
People of?
The third age.
What?
The senior,
senior citizens.
Yes, in my country, for example, what I know, I don't know if it's everywhere. Like when you work, for example, and you have your retreat, like you already finished and you are home. They have this
pension.
Okay,
pension.
You are on pension now. You have this habit to just sitting at home and just read and eat and nothing achievable
and they die
and
early.
everything.
They die early as a result.
Now, these are the kind of people if I decide now that I want to bring HMT to them, they have already their mentality, and I want to make them know that it's still possible at this age to achieve something. So what is the process for this kind of group Because normally
First of all,
in Africa,
you've got the principle is, whatever anybody you are going to, any people group, first of all, find out their needs. Okay, so senior citizens, what is their greatest need? Their greatest need might be in honor. They want to be respected. Dignity. They want you to give them dignity. Respect. They desire to be respected. And recognition. They want to be recognized. So those things that you know are the needs they have. Come to them with honor. Come to them with respect. Come to them with, dignify them. Once you give them all that, they will be open to you. Mm-hmm. Then you now begin to bring in all the content that you want to share with them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor, and thanks again for the opportunity to be here in Ukraine, and thank you to Pastor Derek and Philip for what we've been imparted. I've been working with the church, and I love churches. I love church planting, and from the lessons that we've been hearing about the truth and the truth being able to set a standard, I'm very concerned about the churches, especially back home in South Africa. So I just want to know. How can we plant a seed that's going to ensure that the current system it's overcome? I want to be able to plant a seed to be able to make sure that what currently is happening can be reversed by putting in a godly system within the church.
Especially in South Africa, where you have all those kind of crazy pastors with all kind of crazy doctrines. There is nothing you need more than those teachings on truth. To differentiate between real, genuine, and fake, you just need the truth, the message of truth. So that is paramount. So what you want to do is to saturate the environment with truth by opening the eyes of people, telling the truth, speaking the truth, or broadcasting the truth, letting people hear where light is and where darkness is. Now, to make it last, you've got to raise up disciples who will believe in that, who will inculcate that into their mindset. Now, to make it last, another thing you have to do is to not just have disciples, but you have to make sure that those disciples are converted into what do I call them? Foot soldiers. Foot soldiers. They must make it a matter of policy to dedicate themselves to promoting and advocating for truth. That's where we have the other message that I preached before I started the series on truth, which is the plague of silence. So you must make sure that you make the people understand that they have responsibility for the truth, and they must not be silent. And then you must preach also about concrete steps that they could do to make sure that every day they are contributing, they are doing something to spread the truth, and they are not silent.
Thank you.
No, Pastor Derek. No? Okay, it's time. You want to read? Huh? You want to? Okay. So it's time. Our time is over. If there are no more questions, we want to say thank you everybody for coming to be with us and for this session, Kingdom Fruit Special that we just had. I hope you are blessed. But I will be back in 45 minutes' time. In the next 45 minutes, I will be continuing my series on truth, and what makes truth, the characteristics of truth, the components of truth that will make you to know that that is truth. So in the next 45 minutes, I will be live again. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Blessings.